Hello, I'm Bear, and this is my Stasis Hunter build to pair with Ager's Scepter. Like all of my builds, it is an ability build. That means you're going to be probably shurikening things more than you are shooting, which is exactly how it should be in Destiny, in my opinion. This particular build, it's all about flow. As with all of my builds, I like flow. I like it when abilities feed other abilities, and then it eventually leads to an amazing super, and it's just a lot of fun. You just get into a flow. That is why Destiny feels so good. As I said, this is a melee build, so let's get right into it. With Stasis, I'm going to be honest with you guys. The biggest reason why I main Stasis Hunter, I don't main Hunter, I main Warlock, but the class that I main for my Hunter is Stasis. And the reason why is Mask of Bacchus. This is so much fun, and I really wish Bungie would open this up to all light classes. Seriously. Like, Gunslinger is my least favorite, and I would happily do a Gunslinger build if I could use Mask of Bacchus. That build is so boring. But this is my favorite Hunter exotic by far. Getting into it, we've done a Mask of Bacchus Stasis build before, but this one is a lot different than the other one. The other one was a Charge with Light build. And this is, like I said, a melee build, and it focuses more on elemental wells rather than Charge with Light mods. With Mask of Bacchus, it replaces your Stasis subclass dodge ability with a longer range, faster moving shift that partially cloaks you during use. After shifting, your arc weapons deal increased damage to combatants for a short time, and you deal increased damage to all slowed or frozen combatants. Guys, you have to pair this with arc weapons, even though the one weapon we're going to be using the most is Stasis, and it makes sense with the mods we've slotted onto this, but yes, equip yourself some arc weapons. At least one, like make your heavy an arc weapon, and we'll go over that a little bit later. What you put here, I'm not going to go into detail. If you really want a discussion about mods, most of my build videos do talk about, or not mods, but about your general armor mods like recovery and intellect and all that good stuff. Go back and watch my Warlock video for my most recent discussion about it, and most of my build videos do talk about these mods. I don't want to get into it here. It's the same thing every time. I may say something slightly different, but God's honest truth is you don't need to hear it again. You really don't. So for those of you who are here for the first time, go check out those other videos and you'll learn more about those. What mods you put in your general armor mod slot, it really depends on the RNG, the armor you get, and whether or not you play that character very much. If you don't play Hunter very much, you'll probably have crappy rolls on your armor, and you're going to rely a lot more on these mods to raise up the key stats. And the stats that you like, it really depends on your playstyle and whether or not you go into PvP. Now, this is a PvE Hunter. I do take her into PvP, and she does fine, but a lot of my friends want really high mobility for their Hunters. This Hunter doesn't have high mobility. It is what it is. I like the middle four stats: resilience, recov, discipline, and intellect. That's for me. You decide what you like. Go watch the other videos. Make your own decision based on your stat rolls and the armor you have. And if you're really lucky, you can get 3 100s. I'm not. The game hates me. There's no way I'm getting 3 100s. Anyway, melee build. We're always going to... Usually I do ashes to assets here. I hate the Hunter grenade. Like, whether or not that grenade gets the final blow, it's another thing. I don't do Shatter Dive on my Hunter. I do... I just... No Shatter Dive. What do I do? I don't even know what we do. You know what? Let's take a look, guys. We should probably start there. Let's look at Stasis. Okay, I'm a huge fan of the Marksman's Dodge. I really have a hard time going back to my Warlock after playing Hunter because I'm always trying to dodge to reload. This is one of my favorite things about Hunter. Dodging to reload. Hey, if you want to pick a different ability, that's up to you, but this is what's for me. I use triple jump. Again, it's a matter of opinion. I think most PvEers use triple jump. I've heard a handful of people say that you should be on double jump for PvP, but that doesn't seem to be the consensus. Again, it's up to you. Now, you don't have a choice with this. This is Withering Blade. This is the Stasis Melee. This is what this build is built around. Toss a Stasis Shuriken at targets to damage and slow them. And it provides multiple charges. This thing's a lot of fun. Duskfield Grenade. This is my favorite stasis grenade. I don't like having this to shatter crystals. This is a grenade that shatters on impact, leaving behind a field that slows targets and freezes those who do not leave the volume. This will pull PvE enemies together, so I generally like to toss a Duskfield Grenade and then chuck a Shuriken in there and it'll kill everything. It's a lot of fun. It's a really good combination. I put a lot of thought into the aspects and fragments because there's two things that I like in my builds. Lots of abilities and survivability. And I think Hunter is really hard for survivability. Unless you're a god tier player or you main Hunter and you're just used to it all day, every day. Staying alive is really hard for a lot of the rest of us. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. It's really hard for the rest of us. Grim Harvest is one of the aspects I used. Defeating slowed or frozen combatants creates stasis shards. These shards grant melee energy when picked up by you or your allies. So there we go. We are feeding the Withering Blade Shuriken. Winter Shroud, dodging slows nearby targets. Yes, please. I'm used to my class ability doing something. On the Warlock, it freezes them. It's amazing. What's this? Oh yeah, this is the Shatter Dive. So yeah, I'd rather have the Winter Shroud. For my fragments, Whisper of Bonds, defeating frozen targets grants you super energy. I mean, who doesn't want that? Like, let's say you chuck a Duskfield Grenade, everything freezes in it. You chuck a Shuriken at them and they die. Boom, super energy. Wonderful, let's go. Whisper of Torment, you gain grenade energy each time you take damage from targets. And Whisper of Rhyme, collecting a stasis shard grants a small amount of overshield, which falls off after 10 seconds. Collecting additional shards adds to the overshield and refreshes the timer. Guys, this is our survivability fragment right here, and it works. Back to Mask of Bakris. Again, a build, or it's a melee build. So instead of doing Ashes to assets, and I explained why earlier, like we're not really gonna get grenade kills here. We're getting melee kills, and it's really easy to get melee kills. Guys, the Shuriken is so good. So we're going double hands-on. This season, it's only 1 point because it is an artifact mod, and you can put it on any energy type helmet. So it doesn't really matter what you use. If you're using Void, Arc, whatever, grab your best helmet, slap on hands-on. And yeah, you can stack them, double hands-on. So you're gonna get bonus super energy on melee kills. Melee Well Maker, this is one of the elemental well mods, so this will require us to pick up elemental wells, and this is the first mod that's going to drop those wells for us. Powered melee combatant final blows. Spawn elemental wells matching your subclass energy type. There we have it. We're a stasis hunter. We're getting tons of melee kills. They're going to drop elemental wells. Pick them up. We're good to go. And also, if you pick up an elemental well that matches your energy type, it will grant energy to all of your abilities. Now, if you're running with people who are running other subclasses like Void or Solar or Arc, you know, those light subclass people, if you pick up any of their wells, it'll grant energy to your ability with the lowest energy. So this is a fun little mod when used right. For most ability builds, elemental wells, let's be honest, they suck. But for this particular one, especially with it being a melee build, and with us having these regular like armor mods to go with them, it's going to be pretty good. This is really a fun build. So we don't really need the charge with light mods quite so much. For the gauntlets, we obviously don't have space. Or I don't have enough points to put something here. Now, if I didn't have my intellect mod taking up so much space there, like 5 points, guys. If I got rid of that and only had like a 2-point mod somewhere, and again, this really depends on your armor stats and what you have. It's all random. I would put double momentum transfer on. Momentum transfer, causing damage with a grenade, reduces your melee cooldown. Guys, you don't have to kill them. You just have to damage them. So chuck that Duskfield Grenade out, and they take damage, and this thing actually works really well. I was testing it the other day in a lost sector, and it gives you quite a bit of energy. So if you've got like just a little bit of like melee charge to go before you actually have the charge, chuck a grenade. So these two abilities are really going to play off of each other. This is our only mod that will give us a charge with light stack. So whenever you pick up an elemental well, if it matches your subclass, it will give you 2 stacks of charge with light. Well, we're making stasis wells. We're making stasis wells all day long. So there you have it. Enjoy your 2 stacks of light. On the chest armor, again, sniper resistance, concussive dampener, melee resistance. It depends on what situation you're going into. Pick whatever you want. This is chest armor since, I mean, look at these are all 1 point apiece. This is where I stick my highest mods, my highest point, like charge with light or elemental well mods, whatever. 7 points. I don't do anything with the chest armor mods. Again, they're all 1 point. So I'm popping this charge with light mod on. Now this does work very well on this hunter. So while charged with light, regain half of your melee energy when you use a charged melee ability, consuming 1 stack of charge with light. Okay, on the boots, now the boots I always use for healing mods. So I'm always rocking either Void or Solar. Now the Void will give you a regen mod, so if you pick up an Orb of Light, you'll start regenning. And that's all fine and dandy until something shoots you. So if you get shot right away, it'll stop your regeneration and you won't heal. With Solar armor, with Solar boots, the recuperation mod, it replenishes your health each time you pick up an Orb of Power. I think it gives you half of your health back. At least a third, but I think it gives you half of your health back. And it's immediate. So if something shoots you after you pick up the orb, you've still got your health back. There is no regeneration time. Boom, you're healed. Enjoy. I had 3 points left over, so I put Absolution on. It reduces all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an Orb of Power. Guys, if you have to use like a max intellect mod or something that's 5 points over here, it's okay not to use Absolution. I often use Innervation or I'll do double recuperation. That's fine as well. Elemental armaments, this comes in handy with our new Ager Scepter. So as you can see, this is a stasis weapon and we are a stasis subclass. And elemental armaments, weapon takedowns with a damage type that matches your subclass element, have an escalating chance to spawn an elemental well. And it does it at an okay rate. Sometimes it drops a lot, sometimes it doesn't, but this will help. Our melees will be dropping most of our wells, but we'll take what we can get. Honestly, you might not need this. You could put like a charge with light mod here if you wanted to. Not necessary. And if you're using solar and you're not rocking out all the slots over here, you could put like a heal thyself. Well, that's not really going to work too well with stasis unless you're doing shatter dive. Yeah, I don't know. You could do high energy fire. You could do charged up. Actually, that's tempting. But with all the wells we have, we're going to keep yeah, we don't need it. I've already tested this build. You really don't need charged up. But if you want it, do it. So, take free license. Figure out how this build works for you, and yeah, there's some flexibility on the leg armor. You could still enjoy this build with those options. And then finally, the Hunter Cloak. Surprise, surprise, I'm using a solar class item. I know, I do this all the time. I'm still using Bomber. So it reduces your grenade cooldown when using your class ability. So every time I dodge, boom, I get some grenade energy. I think it's like 40%, or it might be 20%. And if you do double Bomber, it's 40%. If I had only a 2-point recovery mod, which would be, see, this is the general one. There's a less right here. If I had minor recovery mod on, I would do double Bomber for sure. So Font of Wisdom, picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants you a temporary significant increase in your intellect, improving the recharge rate of your super. I mean, heck yeah. I personally don't think these make too much of a difference. It's hands-on is going to make way more of a difference, but I think we've all been in that situation where we had like 5 seconds to super, and it felt like we were there forever. And if you could have like faster regen for a short while, that could make a huge difference in your gameplay or just your time investment in the game. So go for it. Again, you don't really have to have this, but it is a nice option. let's just take a quick look with these guys here. I am charged with light. I have 2 stacks. I picked up a well, which means my melee mod is going to work. So, whoa, nice, dude. Nice. Shuriken, we get a well, but also, look, I got like 60% of my melee back. So we'll chuck a grenade to get the rest of our melee back, because the grenade doing damage with this build gives us back melee energy. Look at our overshield. That's going to be super useful in this public event. Can I grab this flag? I can. So those are just basics, just the melee and the grenade feeding each other. So the grenade mod that we have, let me take a look at this again. Is it momentum transfer? Damage with grenade reduces your melee cooldown. So those Duskfield grenades are super useful. And while I said earlier you could technically use a shatter dive with a shatter grenade if you wanted to, it's a little harder to take advantage of momentum transfer if you're just trying to melee everything with, you know, your base melee. And I did find with Ager's Scepter, freezing everything makes this event so easy. So if you're, I usually use Sunshot. Okay, we need to make sure we're picking up our wells. I have no idea where my well is. Weird that it's not spawning. It should have spawned with the melee. To make this heroic, we have to shoot these. Come on. Now this is a void machine gun. The reason why is because I'm testing rolls for this to figure out what I really want. So ideally you use an arc machine gun, whatever, because of the Mask of Bacchus buff that you get with arc weapons. Okay, that's a nice overshield. We've got the improved ability regen from picking up Stasis Well. That also kept us charged with light. Yo, buddy, watch what this thing does. Oh, actually, I don't think I have the buff yet for this. Do I? Oh, wait, you can use the buff. Okay, so I have the catalyst on this Ager Scepter, so if I hold down R, we'll actually do that for the boss fight. So grenade, just to bring them together, and we've done a melee. Let's make this heroic. Yeah. Go away. Go away. The reload on this gun is really good. I don't know, maybe my wells are dropping and I'm just not seeing them. I saw those last two, but like, some of them I just couldn't see. This gun is so good. I want the grenade energy, so I dodged. Look at how that just freezes everything. This gun is so amazing. Yeah, leave me alone. There we go. Oh, yeah, okay, it fell. I'm gonna grab this for overshield. I'm gonna grab these too. Yowza. Dude. Yeah, these stasis crystals are gonna save my butt here. I had to watch the timer because because I can't be out of this circle when the timer hits 0. Like, we need to make sure we actually do the Glimmer event. Okay, so there's our boss. When I get full super, we can use the ability on the gun. There we go. So I'm going to hold down R. This gives me increased damage. Oh, holy wow, dude. Look at how fast he's going. Oh my god. Okay, this gun is so OP. Oh my gosh. So I will keep this until I switch weapons or something else. I forgot. I think reload. I ran out of ammo. That's what it is. So we have a minute left. I'm gonna go pick up my stuff. Yeah, Ager's Scepter is a little OP. I'm fine with this. I am fine with this. One last word about the build, guys. It's funny, we didn't use our super because we actually used it for Ager's Scepter. No regrets. The damage it did, that was insane. Just insane. So one last word about this build. This is mostly for patrol zones. You could use it for Altars of Sorrow. You could use it in some dungeons. Like, it would be really good in Shattered Throne. I've used it there. However, when you go up against bosses, you have to get better weapons. Now, I have not tested this with its charged ability. What is it called? With its catalyst perk. Okay, so catalyst is drain super energy, overflowing the magazine and empowering the beam with bonus damage and the ability to slow and freeze targets until the magazine or super energy runs out. So that boss that we just killed, like, he doesn't usually go down that fast. I mean, you can shred through him with great guns like Delirium. I know that's a Sunset Pinnacle weapon, but look, if you have Delirium, you should be using that in patrol zones. It's just so much fun. But this beam just totally took that boss down. We didn't mess around. I am going to have to test this against bosses just to find out how it does. But if you are going to do a dungeon and you do go into a boss phase, like, you can mess around with the bosses for most of Prophecy. You could get a sword out and do the first boss, and then the second group of bosses are easy. They just go down so easily. But the final boss, don't screw around. Like, be kind to your friends. If you want to use Ager's Scepter, make sure you get something like a really good Vorpal Sniper or a Slug Shotty or something that's really going to pump out damage. Find maybe a linear fusion rifle. I think the one from Season of the Chosen with I forgot the god roll for that. But if you can get the god roll for that linear fusion rifle, that thing will pump out a lot of damage. Make sure you're using your proper seasonal mods like particle deconstruction, depending on what you're using. Just really make at least like one of these. You don't really need a primary, I'm gonna be real. Like, if you're you don't need a primary if you're rocking this out. Because if you're using your abilities properly, it'll do ammo drops. I've run double special with this and it was just fine. But make sure you do have a super high DPS weapon if you're going to take this build into a dungeon or a raid. And that's it, folks. Test it out. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you'd like to support this channel, liking and commenting on the videos tells YouTube to share these videos with others who may find them useful. If you'd like to provide monetary support to help keep this channel up and running, visit my locals and subscribe star communities.